Hey, MCARBO brother, I'm Chris Nelson, President of MCARBO. Really excited to introduce the new KEL-TEC Sub-2000 Buttstock Pad for your Sub-2K. Really stoked about this. The MCARBO Brotherhood had a huge amount of impact on this design, concept, and the direction we went with it. We've had a ton of requests for this and definitely saved one of the hardest for last. Yes, the optic mount has been the hardest project for the Sub-2000. It's 3 years now and counting. We are about 7 weeks away. I guarantee it. Every time I post a video, everyone's asking, where's the optic mount? Where is the optic mount? Where is the optic mount? I love it. Keeps us motivated, man. Keeps us on target to continue driving forward and create that optic mount. We are like 97% there. We just got the final prototype plated, so we should have it back here on Monday, and then we'll be able to test it and give you the go or no go on that production countdown. So 7 weeks for production. So come Monday, we should know. All right, but right now, we've got the new Sub-2000 Buttstock Pad. And this is awesome, man. This is the second on the market, but I'm really excited about it because it is the most durable, functional piece of hardware for the Sub-2K. Proud to put our name on it, and proud to say the MCARBO Brotherhood had a huge part in the design, fit, function, application here. Really stoked about it, really love it. I actually put this on my M series, so I've got the MCAR 00001. Super stoked about it. You guys have been phenomenal. Thank you for supporting us with the new M series. Really want this to stick around and continue to be an ongoing thing with KEL-TEC. Really pumped about it all around, man. Love the sub. I love how this buttstock pad feels in my shoulder now. I love how it's a flat, uniform surface to help evenly distribute that recoil in your shoulder. No longer is it a point. You know, if you look at your buttstock, the plastic one, it's got a point basically down the center. And that's what leads to a lot of that uncomfortable feeling in the shoulder. Granted, it's a 9mm, it's a 40 cal, but what we've talked about in the past, there's not a lot of recoil mitigation hardware on the sub. Whereas if you compare it to your AR-15, get a long buffer tube, a long buffer spring, you can get upgraded heavier buffers, you've got options. Whereas the sub, we've got that little lifesaver buffer, and then we've got the recoilless charging handle, heavyweight bolt. Those do a nice job, but you're still left with a pointy buttstock, unless you find a new buttstock, but to date, there's nothing. So what are we gonna do? So we finally came up with a good practical solution, still keep the factory buttstock and that function, but now we have a nice, flat, uniform surface, giving you a solid, stable shooting position. Super stoked about this. Let's get on the tabletop, put this baby in. All right, as always, let's go ahead and check our weapons together, make sure they're clear. If you got a sub, one beautiful thing, check the chamber, check the bolt face, check the magazine well. It's Firearms Clear. Love that about the sub. Now we'll go ahead and get started. All right, I'm using the tabletop, so that's why I'm folding it in half, but you'll just push down on your workbench, right, as you push out this buffer pin. So you push down on the buffer, pull out the buffer pin as normal. All right, set that aside, pull out the buffer. Now we can remove the buttstock, all right? And that's all we're gonna need for right now to do this installation. Parts and tools needed for this build, the new KEL-TEC Sub-2000 Buttstock Pad by MCARBO and the hardware that comes with it, a 3/32" Allen key. This is a T-handle wrench. You can use a standard Allen key, that's fine. A 9mm crescent wrench or an adjustable crescent wrench, a 1/8" drill bit, a 1/4" drill bit, a pick or something to mark the locations of these holes on the buttstock, and a drill. So as we all know, the sub tends to be a little bit uncomfortable to shoot since the buttstock is curved. As you can see there, it's almost got a point down the center here, right? 9mm 40 cal doesn't have a lot of recoil, but the problem is the Sub-2000 doesn't have a lot of recoil management hardware, all right? Whereas the AR-15, you've got a long buffer tube, you've got a good solid buffer spring, thing's massive, and then you've also got a good buffer in there, and you can add a heavier buffer as well. Now, here at MCARBO, we've created a lot of recoil management hardware to help reduce that felt recoil, but there's always been something still to be desired out there in the Sub-2000 community. A lot of guys still want a buttstock pad for this really rigid, sharp, pointy buttstock, all right? So we've come up with something, but I do want to do a quick comparison with what's already been out there, and we really put it off for a long time. This is what's currently out there now. You can see this is something we've had around, kicked around the idea. A lot of you guys have requested it. This thing is just not up to par. What tends to happen is it'll rip, and as you can see, it just rips, falls apart. A lot of guys are getting this off Amazon. I don't know where these are made, probably China. but they're very, very flimsy, and they rip into pieces, and they don't last long. A lot of guys don't like it. Plus, not to mention the way it sticks out, really awkward, and it still has the same point on there. Doesn't make any sense. So really, this was a good attempt, but didn't do what we all wanted it to do. And we've been listening to you guys. So this is the new MCARBO Buttstock Pad for your KEL-TEC Sub-2000. A fantastic part, if I say so myself. This was very difficult for us to do. This is why we put it off. This is our first molded part. Really phenomenal. Took a lot of time to put together. So what this is one of the more complex molds that you would ever do. So this is your substrate right here, which is a hard plastic, all right? And that's the internal skeleton, if you will. And then out here is your overmold. So this is your durable rubber, nice padded material that's gonna give you that nice smooth cushion, and not to mention it's flat and straight, giving you a nice solid flat uniform platform against your shoulder that'll balance that recoil evenly across your shoulder, not into one solid point down the center. So we really love that. You guys gave us a ton of feedback and suggestions, and the MCARBO Brotherhood Forum want to shout out, hey, you guys are awesome. Now, some guys had really thrown a lot of great ideas together, even threw some prototypes together, to the point that we saw it and we're like, man, all right, that makes sense. I like it. What are we going to do to help solve this problem? Give these guys what they want, something useful, affordable, that's going to last and be durable. Now, this thing is friggin' durable. I mean, it is really solid, nice, solid construction. And with the overmold substrate, when these are molded together, they're molded at the same time. Really cool process. I learned a lot in this process, and I'm really stoked about it because we're going to start doing some more molded parts to help solve problems. So really excited to continue to learn and kind of go down that path. Now, I will point out, and I know this is going to get brought up, so this is only going to work for the longest configuration. Now, a lot of guys like to shoot the longest configuration because it's got the longest length of pull, so it's going to appeal to most, all right? But I know there's guys that like to shoot the shorter configurations, some here at MCARBO. All right, so what we're going to do is first round is going to be like this for the longest length of pull. So if you're shooting with your buttstock pinned right here, then you're good to go, all right? It'll fold, everything's going to be happy. But if you're shooting with the shortest or middle configuration, we're going to need to come up with some sort of cutout here, and we're going to do another mold, obviously, if we end up going that route, and if there's enough requests for it, we'll certainly do it. So really excited to hear you guys' feedback on this. Now, the one thing with this is we will have to drill 4 holes. All right, now this is a very inexpensive piece of plastic from KEL-TEC, so if you screwed it up, you get another one, but it's really hard to screw up because the way this locates, we've got these countersunk screws that'll fit right into these countersunk holes right here. Nice, clean finish. Screws aren't even going to touch you, and then they're going to mate up with a lock nut on the back. It's got that plastic ring inside that lock nut to really lock it and hold it in place so it won't back out or fall off. So really cool. It's going to really cinch up tight against this buttstock. It's a really great fit. So that we're going to go ahead and demonstrate this now. The installation process, fairly straightforward, nothing really fancy. It's just a matter of using the actual buttstock as a template, so getting it centered up and then marking the holes. We're going to drill a little pilot hole with that 1/8 inch drill bit, and then we're going to drill the real hole that's going to locate the actual screws, and not to mention locate these collars here inside those holes. So it's going to give you a nice solid fit, and we size these just right so you could use a 1/4 inch drill bit and it'll fit snug and perfect. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Mark our holes first. We're going to tap it with a little 1/8 inch drill bit and then finish it out with a 1/4 inch, put our hardware in, and put this baby on. Let's get into it. All right, so you're going to take your pick or a punch or something, or even a small drill bit, something sharp and pointy to mark your locations on the back of the buttstock here. All right, so what we did when we designed it, we wanted these collars to fit into these channels right here. So if you notice the bottom portion of the buttstock pad, all right, and it's narrow, right, to fit the contour of the buttstock. So it's narrow here, wider towards the top, all right, so narrow side down here towards the bottom, wider side up here towards the top. And what you'll notice when you turn it to the side here is that it locates perfectly on this second cutout here on the buttstock, second from the bottom, and then up top here, you'll notice it's second from the top, all right, real easy. So second from the bottom, second from the top, all right, so hold it good and square just like this, all right, get a good grip on it, that's all you need, and then just visually eyeballing it, making sure that it's lined up and centered, and then take your sharp, pointy object and just twist it left and right to leave a little indentation so you know relatively where this hole needs to be. And try to have it in the center of that hole on the buttstock pad. All right. Put a little pressure on it, centered up. And obviously you could use something to help brace this. All right, I'm doing it on camera here. And if I can do it, you guys can definitely do it. You guys are very creative, come up with good ways. And feel free to share your methods as well. I'm just giving you the down and dirty principle here as to how to install it, but I'm eager to see what you guys come up with. So basically we made a few dots, few impressions. So you can see I made a few dots right here, a few dots right here, a few dots right here, a few dots right here. So I'd recommend doing a few. That way there you have a good average on where the hole needs to be, all right? And the cool thing is with the pilot hole, that'll give us a good eyeball as to if they're lined up good enough. But the nice thing is it's really hard to screw up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tap these holes, that 1/8 inch drill bit. That's a smaller one. Got your drill, go ahead and chuck it up. All right. And then if you hold it at an angle like this, hold your drill square at that angle, and we're gonna go right in, all right? Put these little holes in there. All right, next one, center of that average that we put in there. All right, now we're going up top here. All right, I'm just getting it started on these since it's close to my hands. I'm going to turn it up right here in a second. Definitely safety first, not a race. So with these two up top, I'm just going to hold it back here and go straight down. And if you've got a vise, that'd be highly recommended. Put a towel around it just to kind of protect the polymer, and you're good to go. All right, so now we're at this point. We got our pilot holes in there. Real easy, right? And we can go ahead and line these up, make sure that we did a good job eyeballing it, getting our average, and then we can make any adjustment that we might need to make, if necessary, to make sure we're completely lined up. But I'm looking at it right now, and that's solid. All right, nice and squared. I can see through, okay? I can see my holes. If anything, I see them a little bit high on this one, so I'm going to come down a little bit. So go ahead, swap out your drill bits, get your 1/4 inch drill bit. All right, let's go ahead, same format. Perfect. All right. So we got our first actual hole right there. All right, you can see right down into it. All right, so now we just continue checking our progress along the way each time we make an adjustment, if necessary. All right, makes it super easy to tap these holes. So now we'll check our second hole here, making sure that it's lined up. Oh, that's awesome. Perfect. All right, now we'll do these next two and we're good to go. Almost there. Nice. All right, last one. right, there it is. Didn't get this hole cleaned out very well. I'm gonna hit this one again. There we go. Nice. There we go. Nice snap, solid fit. Got a little interference over here, but the good thing is it is adjustable. You know, you just take that drill back to it. You can always remove material, you can't add it back on, so until you get that snug fit. And this takes a little of that custom fitting, you know, obviously with the drill here. There it is. All right, kind of clear this out. Nice. That is solid. So there you go. All right, got a little nick right here. So do be mindful of that, but that is not a deal killer. Very minor. That is awesome, man. Solid fit. Got it nice and straight on here. I'm really stoked about this. I can't wait to hear you guys' feedback on it. All right, so we'll put these screws right in, little countersunk screws. Start with that nut flush against the inside. We'll take our 3/32 inch Allen key. If you got the T-handle, it's definitely handy, but if you don't, any sort of Allen key will work. All right, so once you get it kind of hand tight there, once you get the threads going, then take your 9mm crescent wrench, get a good hold on it, and snug it right up with that 3/32 inch T-handle. All right, you don't need to crank it down just yet because it'll start pulling other directions here on the assembly. So we'll take our next countersunk screw, we'll just go diagonal just to start to get it to locate centered. All right, we'll get it hand started again and repeat the process. There we go. Nice. Snugging up good. All right, countersunk screw in place. Got our lock nut there. Gonna line up those threads. Get it going. All right, once it catches, grab our 9mm crescent wrench for our 9mm carbine. There we go. All right, last one. Drop that countersunk screw right in there, lock nut. Get those threads to start into that nut. Nice. Now we can go ahead and snug it up all the way around. Oh man, this is awesome. Solid, complete unit here. I am stoked to hear what you guys think about this. Just a beauty. Look at that. So we extended the buttstock a little bit. We added some good recoil mitigation here, some nice padding that's flat and uniform, going to absorb that impact really well and evenly distribute it across your shoulder, which is much better than that narrow point right in your shoulder. Really excited about this, man. Let's go ahead and put this on the sub, which happens to be my M series, the MCARBO 00001. Super stoked about it. I'm gonna clean up this mess too. All right, now let's put this baby back together. Now, one unique thing here, obviously, there's always some pros and cons. Now, with this buffer, now that we obviously closed up this back portion, we want to give you the most even distribution of that recoil. You take the buffer and you insert it at an angle here and pop it right in place. All right, and then it'll drop right in like that. So it's a little bit of a snugger fit. You could modify this if you're okay with that. And I realize not everybody's going to want to do the drilling, and that's why we did a short run, but I really think what you're going to gain here in that recoil mitigation, that comfortability factor, It's going to make you a much more stable platform, much more easier to shoot, much less distractions. I'm all for it. So we're modifying our subs to make them the best they can possibly be. Sometimes that requires a little bit of cutting, but if you're not into that, I completely understand. Take your buffer pin, place it underneath, and then go ahead and just push that buffer forward. It'll drop right in, and away we go. Heck yeah, look at that. Awesome. We have got nice recoil management hardware back here now. Yes, a little bit of fitting, got to drop the buffer in a little bit different, but not a whole lot of drawbacks to it considering what we had to work with. This is phenomenal. I'm really stoked about this. Can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. Well, there you have it, guys. The new buttstock pad for your KEL-TEC Sub-2000. Phenomenal. Nice, flat, uniform surface to help reduce that felt recoil and give you a nice, stable, solid shooting platform. I love how this really fits better in the shoulder. It's not a sharp point. Feels nice, solid, secure, stable when you're railing out, man. It's just a nice, solid, even platform. I love it. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. I know there's a little bit of cutting, a little bit of modification. I get it. Everybody's got their option, got their choice. I think this is the best option we've got for the sub with the current buttstock. I'm really eager to hear what you guys think. Give it a shot. You know, I am stoked about it. It's not much to replace these if you had to. I don't think you'd need to unless a scratch is really going to be a huge problem. But as far as what we get for performance, nice increased length of pull, nice solid flat buttstock now. I mean, and it even feels good. I love the ridges. I love how it fits in the shoulder. I love how it just grips nice right there in that pocket. It feels really good. I'm super stoked about it. Thank you, MCARBO Brotherhood, for helping us design this, helping us get this going. Man, I am pumped. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. Thank you again. As always, happy shooting.